Hello and welcome to tonight's web class. Tonight's class is on personal power. I'm Keisha Golder, and I help women define their unique purpose so they can live a life they created on their own terms. I also created the Your Life Purpose Makeover Journey, which is a 3-stage, 9-step program developed to help you change your life, but we'll talk more about that later. I want to remind everyone that we will have a question and answer section towards the end of the presentation. So if you can hold all of your questions until then, I will appreciate it. Before we jump into tonight's topic, let's do a quick recap of what we talked about last week. Last week, we discussed boundaries. We learned what they were, why we need to set boundaries, and how boundaries can help us align with our purpose. This week, we are discussing personal power, what it is, why finding your personal power can help lead to success, and how you can access your own personal power and reclaim your life. So, what is personal power? Personal power is an inner strength and confidence that carries you forward through the toughest times. Another way to think about personal power is having the ability to handle problems with courage, and you break free from the things that are holding you back, such as limiting beliefs and limiting habits. Things that help you, will not help you, but make you feel powerless. If you want to connect personal power and how personal power is helping you, you can think of it as a part of your belief system. You can think of it as a part of your core values. You can also think of it as knowing who you are. Personal power is also a mental toughness. Some people, regardless of what goes on in their lives, you never see them break down. You never see them break a sweat. You never know when they are rattled. These are the people that own their personal power. They have that mental toughness that regardless of what is going on, they are going to make the decisions and take the actions that are going to propel them forward to where they need to be. Personal power is also about overcoming habits that hold you back. Like I said, the limiting beliefs and just regular habits that we develop. And we sometimes do not even know that we are developing certain habits. So when we are working together, if we work together, when we get to your belief systems, we're going to talk about the limited beliefs, the things that hold you back, the things that you were told about you that are not true, the things that you've made up about you as far as beliefs are concerned that are keeping you from owning your personal power, as well as being great and reclaiming your life the way that you want to do it. Traits of people who have personal power. They are organized, they're grounded, they're capable, they're successful, they're confident, and they're happy. Yes, all of these are adjectives, but we may not be able to see those things in ourselves, but I'm quite sure we have all met someone who has these lists of adjectives that you can use to describe them. That is someone that has personal power. You know, people who have personal power, they don't have to shout it from the mountaintop. Yes, I have personal power. If someone is going to shout something, nine times out of 10, they don't have it. If someone has to go out of their way to prove something or prove that they own something, then they don't, and they're not confident. They're not they're not secure in themselves. So they have to make sure that everyone around them knows that they have it, or that they can get it, or that, they created this. People with personal power are comfortable in their skin. They are confident in what they believe. But even though they're confident in what they believe, they listen to other perspectives and people with other beliefs. They don't shut you down because you don't believe in the same thing that they believe in. Most people who have personal power make great leaders, but they are not in the public eye. So a lot of people who have personal power, they like to be behind the scenes. So when you think of the world leaders, the public figures and all of that, yes, they may be powerful people, but some of those people don't have personal power. Qualities of people with personal power. They enable others without needing to be thanked or acknowledged. They're happy to learn, fail, and own up to your mistakes. For me, if you cannot learn from failure, then what are you doing? It's nothing wrong with failing, because it teaches us what not to do the next time that we try. It teaches us the things that may need to be changed so that we can be successful. People with personal power, they're happy to hear other views, and they don't feel threatened by other people's views or feel like other people are pushing their convictions or beliefs on them. Now, a lot of people that I have encountered tend to not want to hear something that someone else says. They may listen, but they're not really listening because it goes against what they believe. These individuals are closed-minded because they're not being open to something outside of themselves. If you have personal power, if you're owning your personal power, you're open. Not saying that you have to partake in that other person's beliefs, but you're open to what they have to say. You're open to learn about it. You're open to experience it without feeling like because you experience it or because you listen to them, you have to convert to whatever they're trying to talk to you about. People with personal power can lead without needing to be in front. Some of the greatest people, you don't even know who they are. Some of the people who wield the most powers in companies and organizations, you don't know who they are. They allow other people to take the spotlight because that's not what people with personal power want. They don't want to be in the spotlight. They want to be in control of their lives. They want to do things the way that they want to do them and help others. They don't need to be given awards for the countless things that they've done. They don't need to be shown on the news. Yes, that's nice sometimes, but that's not what a person with personal power is looking for. People with personal power communicate powerfully, not forcefully. So they are able to convey what it is that they want without you feeling like you are being pressured to do something, without you feeling that regardless of what is going on, that they're not listening to you. You're not being heard. People who have personal power are great listeners. They don't need to assure you that they're listening because you can tell by their body language how attentive they are to you. You will know when you're talking with someone with personal power because they make sure that you know with nonverbal cues that you are their attention getter at that moment. People with personal power, they get more done than most people. They achieve their goals and they do as they are promised that they will do, even if there are obstacles. Now, you're probably like, how do they get more done? Because they create lists. because they have their goals written down, they have the things that they want written down or the things that they want to achieve in a day. So they're not struggling to know what it is that they have to do next. They have routines, they have patterns set up so that they are able to flow freely from one task to the next. That's how they achieve things. That's how they get things done without confusion, and their goals get accomplished as well. How to tell if you have depleted your personal power. So we all have personal power. Some of us more than others. Some of us have depleted it. Some of us know how to raise it. Some of us haven't even figured out either way. So if you're regularly giving into others' expectations of you, this is your mom telling you that you should be going to beauty school instead of going to college for engineering because you do hair really well and you make a lot of money doing it on the side to put yourself through school, and you give up your chance to get an engineering degree just because your mom said you need to just do hair, then you're giving into someone else's expectations of you. You're not living up to your own expectations. You're falling into what others want for you. If you complain about things but make no positive changes in your life, you've depleted your personal power. We all know someone at some point in our lives, all they do is complain. It's like a black cloud follows them around because all they do is complain about the smallest thing or turn something positive into negative. I had a friend one time, and yes, we all go through a lot of things, but I could say that the sky was blue and the grass was green, and she would say, "Nuh-uh, look at that spot over there, that's brown." She would disregard all of the beautiful picture around her just to pick out that one spot and turn everything negative. People who have depleted personal power, they don't trust themselves to make the right decisions for their lives. So they rely on other people to do it for them. That goes back to the first example of, you're going to college for engineering and you believe that you can do it, but you have other people telling you, hey, no, I think you're better at this. You need to stick with this. That's what you do when you have depleted your personal power. You succumb to manipulation. You kind of feel worthless. You lack confidence. And sometimes you feel like you're incompetent. Nobody wants to feel any of these things. So how do you change that? You have to work on it. We'll get to that in a little further down in the presentation. When you've depleted your personal power, you go out of your way to avoid conflict because it makes you feel uncomfortable. Yes, I am a person that used to go out of my way, avoid people because I knew that it was conflict coming with them, whether it was directly involved with me or not. I used to avoid that because it made me feel uncomfortable, not realizing that no matter how long I avoided it, it wasn't going anywhere. It was only going to get worse because the person who I was avoiding wasn't doing anything but getting angrier or more frustrated. So something that could have been handled in a little discussion blows up to a big argument now because I tried to avoid the situation for so long that they're completely frustrated. And so as soon as they see me, they blow up and nothing gets resolved because I still don't want to deal with the conflict. I still want to avoid it, but I've been caught in a situation where they found me and they just blew up on me. And so I shut down and the person is not being heard because I've shut down at this point. I'm not listening. And they're just yelling and they're just expressing themselves and we still get nowhere. And also people who have depleted their personal power, they carry a lot of guilt, anger, frustration, and resentment. And these can be related to anything. Most of the time it's related to internal feelings because they are not in control of their lives. They have given away their power of their life to other people. So they're angry with themselves. They're frustrated because their life isn't going the way that it needs to go or that they want it to go. But it can't go the way that they want it to go because they've allowed other people to take control over their lives. So we have a pretty good idea of what personal power is, what it looks like on people, what it looks like when you have lost your personal power. So why does finding your personal power help lead to success? Personal power leads to success because it offers you self-acceptance, promotion, and promotion can relate to work. It can relate to self-promotion. For me, I know that before I took back control of my life, I don't necessarily know the correct way to say this, but I didn't feel like I was elevated. But once I regained personal control, personal power over my life, I promoted myself. I elevated in my own life, if that makes sense to you. It can offer you new career paths. If you have been on a job for 30 years and you go there every day and every morning, you don't want to get out of bed because you hate the job that you're going to, you don't like the people around you, all you do is complain the whole 8 hours you're there, but you continue to do it. Why is that? Because you've given up your personal power to do something that someone else said that you should do. And you hate every second of it. So when you find your personal power or you regain your personal power, you may find that that career path is no longer for you and you need to go down another one. You stand up for what you believe in when you have personal power. You can also see an increase in your clients because when you are walking the way that you need to walk, when you're walking the path that you want to walk, when you're walking the path that you decided this is the path that I want to go on, the people that are meant for you are going to see you, hear you, and they're going to say, I need to work with this person. I like how he or she does things. I like the way they make me feel when I listen to them talk or I listen to them share their story. And personal power can lead to you learning new skills. All of these things leads to being able to be successful, whether it is just in your day-to-day life or if it's in your career or job. Success looks different for everyone. So I like how the examples are career, they're also personal, because someone may not want a $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 job. Someone, in order to be successful to them, may be owning a small business where they get 10 clients a day, depending on what it is that they do, or they make 10 sales a day for big ticket items. Success looks different for everyone. So how can you create healthy habits which lead to success using your personal power? You can have clear written goals. Remember, I said people who own their personal power, they have plans, they write out lists so that they're able to follow these. This is having clear written goals. So if you sit down once a week and say, this week I am going to do A, B, C, and D on this day at this time for this duration of time, that may be clear enough for someone. Someone else may go more in detail. Whatever clear written goals look like for you, that is what someone who is moving forward to success within personal power, that's what it looks like. They're adapting to changing conditions. Nothing stays the same. So if you're not able to go with the changes or recognize that changes are coming and that you need to get ready to prepare for the changes that are coming, you're not going to be successful. You develop drive and focus. Some of us call it tunnel vision. Sometimes when there are things that I really am focused on, I have tunnel vision and I see nothing but that. That can be a good and bad thing, but it also can help lead you to being successful in whatever arena it is. And personal power allows you to be able to know how to develop your drive and focus. You express your desires and needs effectively. How many times have you allowed someone to tell you what it is that you wanted? How many times have you allowed someone to tell you what it is that you needed? You weren't operating in personal power, and that definitely was not a healthy habit. You have to be able to communicate effectively and efficiently with other people so that they know what your expectations are, so they know what you are looking for. And personal power leading to success is creating a healthy habit of committing yourself to self-development. We are never the same that we are the day before. So I'm not the same person I was yesterday, let alone an hour ago. I'm continually learning. I'm continually evolving. I'm continually growing. And if you say that you're not growing, what are you doing? Because that means you're standing still and you're not learning anything. So not learning anything is not leading to being in control of your life and having personal power. So you have to be able to commit to self-development, even if it's reading a book a month, even if it's researching something that's near and dear to you. You have to figure out how to incorporate self-development in your journey so that you create the healthy habits that are going to lead to success with personal power. So we've talked about what success looks like for people when they are walking within personal power. How do you access your personal power? So you can stop stressing because it reduces your power whenever you stress. It kind of makes you feel like you are powerless. Like you do not know what is coming next. And true, we don't know what's coming next. But the question is, you don't know what's coming next. But even if you did know what was coming next, can you control it? Can you change it? If the answer is no, why are you stressing over it? Most of the times as people, when we stress, we are stressing over something we cannot change. I have spent a great deal of my life stressing over things that I have not been able to change. Just worrying, trying to figure out things for other people when they weren't even stressing over the things that they needed to figure out. I couldn't control them. I couldn't change the situations, but I was stressing, which was causing me to be in a negative mind state and feel like I was helpless, even if the situations didn't belong to me. You can learn to really listen. And when you're learning to really listen, here's the thing. You're not just listening to other people. You are listening to yourself. In this day and age, we are bombarded by thoughts of other people through social media. How many times have you found yourself repeating something that you've heard through social media? So if you're repeating something that you've heard through social media, you don't know whether it's true or not. What you do know is, and sometimes you may not know because you've heard it so much that you begin to believe that it is an original thought of yours. And more often than not, it's not an original thought of yours. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to be able to distinguish the voice of social media or the people around you from your own voice. So if you're repeating something or you're sharing something that does not sound anything like you, that does not sound like something that comes from your heart, then you're not listening to who you are. You're not listening to yourself. So you have to listen to yourself as well as others when you're walking in your personal power. Another way to access your personal power is to practice confidence. A lot of us sometimes think that we're confident, but as soon as someone tells us that we don't measure up to what they think we should measure up, we shrink. We put our shoulders down, we put our head down, and we start to feel bad about ourselves. No, you practice confidence. Every day is not going to be perfect. Every day is not going to be rainbows and sunshine. So how can you practice confidence, especially on those days when it's a little hard? This one was something that I struggled with. Acknowledging your successes and your wins. No matter how small they may seem, they are yours and you accomplished those things. Remember how you felt when you accomplished it. Remember how you felt when you graduated from high school. And yes, that may seem like a simple, small accomplishment, but to some, that is the best thing in the world. Remember how you felt when you got a in a class that you never thought you would pass. Those, regardless of how small they are, those are ways that you can build your confidence. Also, music is another way. So we all have a song, and I know we do, that regardless of where we hear it, how we're feeling when we hear it, it makes us happy. It puts us in a better mood. Keep that song on standby for those times where you are doubting yourself and you don't feel confident in who you are. Play that song and play that song as many times as you may need to build your confidence back up. Have fun. Do things that you forgot how to do. Do the things you used to love to do before you got inundated in working and being a wife or being a husband, being a business person. Dance, laugh, go surfing if that's what you do. Do yoga, whatever it is that can make you feel good and confident in yourself, do it and do it for as long as it takes. If it takes you 30 minutes to dance till you are laughing and crying out of happiness, do it. If it takes you 2 hours, do it. That's good cardio as well. Do anything that is going to bring your happiness and your confidence levels up. The next one is find bounceability. And you're probably like, well, what is bounceability? Your ability to bounce back from something that made you feel bad. That's literally what it is. Find your bounceability. Yes, we have those moments where we get down on ourselves. But why are we staying there? Let's bounce back from it. What about us do we love? How can we reset or restart from that moment? We don't have to stay in the sunken place. We don't have to stay down on ourselves. How do we bounce back from being sad? How do we reset it? I'm giving you the ways, you can dance, you can laugh, you can listen to the song. All of these things are things that you can do to bounce back from those moments when you weren't feeling your best. You weren't feeling in your personal power. You weren't feeling confident. And the last is to accept failure. If you remember in the beginning, I said failure teaches us something. If failure is not bad because we learn either what to do or what not to do. So accept your failures as lessons and take those lessons to the next level so that you're able to recover from the failure and move successfully forward. So we've talked about personal power. At this time, does anyone have any questions regarding personal power? If so, you can type it in the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay. I love to keep in touch with everyone. So if you're looking to find me, you can find me on Facebook at Coach Keisha Golder. You can find me on YouTube at Keisha Golder, LinkedIn, Keisha Golder, and of course, my website, KeishaGolder.com, where you can also find previous web classes and sign up for future web classes. The next web class we are going to have is we are going to discuss how core values can help us develop holistically. Now, if you know me, you know I am about the whole, which is mind, body, spirit. And so we're going to delve into how core values can help us develop in a holistic manner. As I mentioned earlier, this is the Your Life Purpose Makeover Journey, which is a 3-stage, 9-step program. And today, what we talked about fits into a couple of these stages. Actually, the whole first stage, everything I talked about fits in there in one aspect or another. So if you decide that you want to work with me, we're going to delve through each of these stages and we're going to understand what it is to really know what our core values are, know who we are, why we have the belief systems we do, what's holding us back, our talents, our skills, what we're passionate about. Like, not just, to say we're passionate, but what is it that fuels a burning desire in us and how we can use that to help us find our life purpose. What experiences have we had that help shape us and mold us to the person that we are? And we're going to figure out what our purpose is. And of course, we're going to work on creating the blueprint that we will use to realize our purpose as well as any other purpose that may come later on down the line. I thank you all for joining me tonight, and I look forward to seeing you next week.